It looks like let me go ahead and check really quick. I believe the game is already up. So look at that. CatZ will be starting out. And let's go ahead and get into the game. Oh, let me remove the channels first. Let's go ahead and get into the game screen. Thanks, Elliot. So we got Shuffle against CatZ. Now, Shuffle is a really, really good Zerg that I've seen play in the NASL qualifiers, the Open, actually. I saw Shuffle quite a bit. And overall, very strong. I think he's slightly aggressive, but he knows how to macro. Like, he knows how to macro. I've seen this guy play very, very well. He played a great match against Thorazane. And I can't wait to see this because ZVZ, I feel like, is just CatZ's specialty. He has a very, very great understanding of it. He understands how to, properly manage your larva, which is probably the most important thing in ZVZ. Properly managing your larva, understanding that, momentum and mobility gives you a lot more options. It focuses your opponent to do a very, small set of things. For instance, if I go and press up with my Zerglings really early, my opponent has to kind of react. They can't just drone. It cuts out a huge amount of options because if they just drone, they're going to die, of course. So it could lead to, just defending perfectly and actually just overcommitting and overmaking a ton of, let's say, Zerglings, things like that. And you can get easy advantages like that. We've seen CatZ do a ton of things. Yesterday he was talking about 10 pool and how 10 pool is really strong on the ladder. He might be switching up. Of course, he's talking about the Korean ladder. Korean ladder is ever so strong. But as I said, for those of you just tuning in, welcome. This is the NASL, NASTL, the North American Star Team League. And I will be joined by CatZ a little bit later. He's going to be put up first in this clan war. Now it is QXG, which is of course Quantic. Quantic recently took on a new team. They're with StarTale, I believe. Quantic Gaming with StarTale. So really cool. They were originally with IEM. I know things broke down between them. Was unfortunate. I'm not sure the details, honestly, but things broke down between them, and then ultimately they went with StarTale. And what a great honor to be part of a team that has July Zerg, that has Rainbow, Ace. Who's that one Pokemon? Squirtle! I was like, Bubble, Butter, Bubble. And then I was thinking like Water Gun. And I couldn't think of Squirtle. How ridiculous is that? Anyway. Complexity CatZ against QXG Shuffle. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a second, please. So we're going to just wait in a little bit. So anyway. Let's just go to me, Elliot. I'm going to tell you campfire stories right now. Let's see. My experiences with CatZ. CatZ, we were at MLG Dallas. And he's the one that patented Payam Toyam because it sounded better. But that's not TT1's last name at all. So we'd shout it at the top of our lungs when he was playing against Jinro. There are 4 of us that were shouting for TT1 and the rest of the crowd shouting for Jinro. But we didn't care. We just did it. That's my story. I have nothing else. CatZ is a really boring person, obviously. If you ever watch his chat, or not his chat, his stream, he's a really, really boring person. But you should go watch his stream. Maybe he's not. Prove me wrong. Alright, we're gonna go. I'm done filling. I'm done with filler commentary. GGGLHF. Sorry, I'm trolling now. Alright, the countdown has begun. We have Complexity CatZ against QXG Shovel. A ZVZ starting map will be TPW Odyssey. Now, I know yesterday the commentators thought this was a little bit like Daybreak. I have to completely disagree. Of course, I couldn't say that yesterday, but I completely disagree. I think Daybreak is vastly, vastly different. The attack paths are a lot more extreme. How you get to your opponent's base. But let's go ahead and see what goes from this. So QXG Shuffle going to be in the mid right hand position as the green Zerg. Complexity CatZ spawning over here as the yellow Zerg. Right now, ZVZ is still developing, in my opinion. You know, endgame hasn't really been practiced, I want to say, by the majority of Zergs. So, in terms of builds and stuff like that and how to get to endgame, it's not really well defined. At least that's my analysis, especially with seeing, you know, the GSL, NASL, IPL, that kind of stuff. I just haven't seen that development into that end game stage where everybody can play completely standard. I think for now people are just still finding the build orders and trying to get you know, super standard. Oh yeah, CatZ isn't on standard. He's on call CatZ. Mind blowing. Anyway, I think the most important thing, as we always see, you see in a Home Story Cup, you see in every other tournament, openings are probably the most important thing. If you play any MOBA series, you know, the hero picks are probably one of the most important things, maybe 50% of actually winning the game. I think openings are the same way. Maybe not as much, not 50%, but definitely a good proportion. Maybe even 40%, something like that. Something very high. And we're going to go with just 14-14 for both these players. 14 extractor, 14 pool. So not a big deviation, well, no deviation from either player. We are going to see, hopefully, a standard game. These overlords, of course, being very important. You have to put them in between, just checking out for the attack path, seeing how many Zerglings are made, keeping tabs on your opponent. But nothing too crazy right now. So we'll just move on and see how these players actually start to deviate. We can already see CatZ looking for that extra drone. He found it. Nope, he didn't. I take that back. Dirty whore. So right now, I feel like, you know, CatZ overall, as I said, I really like his play a lot more better. A lot more better. Did I really say that? A lot more. And it's because of this. I know it's super, super minor. Right now, we do have Shuffle going for a Baneling nest, and he's continuing to make, or to harvest gas. I do agree with CatZ and always going for this Speedling, because what's going to happen is you're going to have an advantage in your Speedlings in the early game stage. Normally you do, from just focusing on all minerals. Technically, what should happen is CatZ should be on his opponent's side of the map. There's no way that CatZ should be playing defensive. If he's playing defensive, he will run into a lot of troubles. But right now, he needs to go push across the map. Thankfully for Shuffle, he's actually the one with this Zergling advantage. So he's able to take a little bit of map control. This is not what he can afford, especially when these Banelings come up. If the Banelings are able to morph, which is happening right now, this should never happen when you're going a gasless Zerglings, in my opinion. And this is exactly why. CatZ should be all across the map. He should be the one being aggressive, taking out the Banelings. Oh, God! Baneling does actually merge. Kills 3 Zerglings. A very nice trade. Now, Shuffle, at this early stage in time, has the Larva advantage, has the Zergling advantage. He doesn't want to go and donate them, though, especially towards that Queen. The Queen can absorb a lot of hits. But a great job done by Shuffle. And at this point, he can just continue in the aggression. CatZ has to keep contesting this area. But look at this, he's constantly outnumbered. So that one Baneling hit actually was gigantic. And you can see that CatZ is actually taking a pretty... he is coming back into this. Of course, there is the rush distance that Shuffle has to overcome every single time. But he's not really utilizing his gas that he is getting up. He right now has the ability to make 5 more Banelings. We'll see if it actually materializes into anything. Because I feel like just investing for 2 Banelings, if we kind of subsidize that Baneling nest, that is a lot of minerals for those 2 Banelings. An extra 50, 25. And look at this, CatZ gonna go ahead, and this is exactly what he needs to do. Force the Banelings on his opponent's side. We can see 1 drone is gonna be picked off. CatZ doing a great job. This Speedling opening only I think is just vastly superior to any sort of Baneling if they're going the same build. See, Zerglings are pushing up into the main. The Queen is actually going to be taking out a very huge pick for CatZ, and he can just scram out of here knowing that he has the larva advantage at this point. But no, he's going to continue on, probably take off a couple of drones here. And a good all-around job by CatZ. Only one drone, though. Not as good as I thought, actually. He needs to be careful. Can't keep throwing away units. He hasn't actually invested, so if you give a momentum swing to your opponent in TVZ with these Zerglings, they have obviously the momentum to actually take your side of the map. Additionally, that does empower any sort of Baneling, so CatZ needs to be a little bit more careful. That's why he overproduced in Zerglings yet again. Income tab showing 17 to 20. CatZ is kind of forced to do that. He wants to always make sure that his Zerglings are on his opponent's side of the map. But he has to be careful because, yeah, there we go. He's finally now switching up, knowing that his opponent has gotten some sort of Banelings on his side. So, overall, a good read so far. I think Shuffle has done a good job of actually defending. CatZ did a little bit of a blunder actually trying to take out this hatchery, I think, losing a lot of Zerglings. But right now, I think things have evened up a lot. This is the perfect dynamic in which both these builds should be. Mass Zergling should be on its opponent's side of the map. Right now, though, CatZ needs to desperately worry because I don't even know if he can defend this at this point. He has 2 spine crawlers. Okay, that is enough. He might need an additional queen right now. He does have a lot. Wow, that's a lot saved up. And oh, a big counterattack coming in here. Banelings are going to be able to... Oh, my God! Takes out everything but 2 Banelings. That is gigantic. CatZ not microing any of his Zerglings. And oh my God, a ton of Zerglings and Banelings gearing up over here. Only 2 spine crawlers, 2 queens over here. 3 queens, excuse me. There are plentiful transfuses, but what is he going to do against all these Banelings coming in here? Additional Zerglings are on the way out, but the Banelings are coming in right now. They're going to go directly for the queens. The queen is going to go down with the only transfuse. Zerglings are streaming into the main. There are some Zerglings out for CatZ, but I don't think it's going to be enough. And somehow, whoa! CatZ! Holy crap, how the hell did you do that? CatZ is going to clean that up somehow. I was sure with the Banelings he was going to be able to clench that. But holy guacamole. God damn. CatZ able to hold out somehow. Of course, I do think the spine crawler helped out quite a bit. And maybe the Baneling splattering across the queen wasn't the best decision. I think maybe you should have gone on the spine crawler, and then all of a sudden this entire area is barren. And Shuffle just gonna GG out. CatZ gonna take it. A very, very surprising finish. Oh my God, I think QXG Shuffle definitely went ahead and messed up in that a little bit. That was really, really surprising. Elliot, do you mind? I'm gonna actually go back into that replay and just analyze it a little bit. Oh, this is not the replay. Okay. So, yeah, as I was saying, I think actually going for the queens, I know they have the transfuses, but you can't really transfuse a spine crawler that's being DPS with the Banelings that fast. Banelings deal 80 damage. That is an obscene amount of damage to buildings, that is. To buildings. So I think actually going for the spine crawler would have been the better option. Just maintain. He was just trying to go for the all-out win right there. Kill both queens, and all of a sudden he's in great position. But I mainly want to check that area. But let's just go to camera 1 real quick as I wait for this replay to load up. My mid-screen actually messed up. But yeah, as I was saying before, I think critically, if you just go for that advantage, take the hatchery, take the natural hatchery, he'll be in a much better position. But how it was, I mean, Shuffle knew he was in the advantage. He had 2 huge Banelings that killed all of CatZ's counterattack. CatZ did a great job. He understood the dynamics of mass Zergling's just speed against a Zergling Baneling. You always force your opponent to stay on their side of the map while you yourself just mass up in a couple of drones. You're able to afford a couple of drones here and there and then go into mass Zerglings, whereas your opponent doesn't have the capabilities actually producing out of all of that just because they don't have saturation on their natural. They can't produce out of all larvae because their initial drones are actually going... You have 3 drones going to gas. That represents a good maybe 15% of your economy. I think it's around 15% if they're at 20 drones. Just about 15%. That's a pretty staggering staggeringly huge amount of money in that early game stage. So I got it to the spot. Let's go ahead and look into it. So can I get a what? Let's go ahead and get into the spot. Come on. Was it really this long? Yeah. Okay. So the units tab is showing 29 to 18. Somehow he has a lot of Zerglings. I don't know where all the Zerglings are. Okay, there's some here, some here. But he does have just a staggering amount of Banelings. This only has 3, well, it's only down to 162. Basically, you can use 2 Banelings, and look at this. All of a sudden, your Banelings can be used to just defend your Zerglings from killing this hatchery. So this hatchery is 100% forfeit. It's going to die if he actually goes for this, but instead, he goes for the Queens. The Queens, I mean, they only deal 20 damage to these Queens. So you have to use literally all your Banelings just to kill them. Use them all on the Queens instead. I think these Zerglings would have been fine just dealing with the Queens by themselves. Could have gone for this area, but I didn't even see these cats go into them, swoop in. Only 1 Queen died. Of course, another round of Zerglings are going to come out, and these Zerglings die. So a very, very critical, I think, move of trying to kill those Queens, go up into the main when really there was no reason to. And I think ultimately that decision meant, a lose-win. It was a lose for him, going up, win if he actually went into the natural. Anyway, we're going to go to a short break right now, and we'll be back with more Complexity versus Quantic gaming action. Stay tuned. We'll be back.